mention, because what was expected from the finance minister was that he is going to increase the basic exemption limit by at least 50,000 rupees. That is what the middle class was expecting, but what actually happened, and some expectations were as high as a basic tax exemption limit of at least 5 lakhs. Yes. But nothing of that sort actually materialized. He stuck on to the existing tax slabs. Only thing is that he has extended benefits in the other forms, that is to say higher deductions which are available for medical insurance or the national pension scheme. So effectively what happens is that someone who is really willing to invest will not have to pay tax to an extent of about 4 lakh and change, maybe 4.5 lakhs. Then for salaried employees, he's just made one, you might say he's just thrown a bone for them. That is, he has increased a minuscule allowances like a transportation allowance from 800 to 1,600 per month, which actually translates to something like 3,000 rupees saving in a financial year, which will barely suffer, be a cost of a dinner. It's pittance, but unfortunately that's all there is to it. But he has promised in his closing remarks that if the fiscal situation permits, more benefits can be expected in the coming years.
Which unfortunately don't mostly happen. Can you have some more people from Doha? We are actually keenly waiting for them. We are lucky to have Mr. Prince George as well as Mr. Rohan here in the panel. We can have some more people and their questions which can be answered, and then we'll go for a panel discussion later.
Hi, good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for your inputs and your feedback on the budget. My name is George Aizen. I happen to be the chairman of the Chartered Accountants Association here in Doha.
Hi, sir.
My question really is, do you think that the finance minister, corruption being such a big issue, do you think that the new proposed law that he's talking about and the measures that he's talking about really go far enough to address this fundamental issue in the economy?
Yeah, you are very right, sir. Like corruption is such a big issue, but I think there are limitations for the finance minister to address this issue purely from a budget perspective. Because corruption, first of all, if you want to address this issue, it's a social evil, So from that perspective, there has to be a change in the mindset, first of all, for this thing to happen. That's my first point. Having said that, there are two ways of eliminating this, one is to cut down on the bureaucratic process, which actually is one of the channels for, producing corruption. You cut down by putting technology in place, like mobile apps or, internet-based filing systems or whatever it is, so that, the chance of, empowering people.
Yeah. By reducing the inspection law.
Correct. The second, yeah, correct. The second proposal is to cut down on the procedures. Now we have so many procedures to be followed as far as getting licenses and other things are concerned. So if we are able to reduce it to a level, I think to an extent corruption can be eliminated, not eliminated, marginally brought down, But beyond that, if you really want corruption to be out of the system, you have to address this black money issue also, So black money is such a big issue. Black money means, there are two types of things again, the tax evaded money is there, and again also money generated by politicians and other type of people who are actually, ruining natural resources and other things. So basically all these issues are quite complex. I frankly believe that, finance minister can do little bit only on this thing. The only one thing which he can do is about bringing all those money, which are lying outside, maybe in Switzerland or other banks or whatever it is, through a process which he can expedite from his side, because the ball is in his court now. If he is able to expedite it and if he is able to bring it down, also, if he can reduce the tax rates effectively, I think the compliance will be much more better, which will also eliminate the, black money or other kind of money from the system. And eventually corruption will be over. One thing I want to tell you, I just want to tell you for all the non-resident friends in the Doha particularly and others who are watching this is that there is a significant amount of quality increase as far as the thinking of the people in this country is concerned, which was quite evident in the Delhi elections also, where people have been now seeing that, okay, we want a transparent country, we want to live in an honest and honest society. We want to have some good things to happen in this country, you know, like, which is very good, which eventually will force all politicians and policymakers to think about in this direction. That is the hope I want to convey at this point of time.
There is a political brewing for the general public who wanted to really bring out a Swachh Bharat in terms of corruption. And as Mr. Prince George rightly stated, unfortunately corruption is a socio-political and cultural issue rather than an economical issue. Ruben will add some more on that because NRIs are very keen on a clean country than a developed country.
Basically, Mr. Prince has actually covered everything on it. The whole point is one way to do it is to cut the supply. That is, corruption can be eliminated from the root level. That is, simplify procedures, and there steps have been taken in the right direction in terms like the various enactments for the same purpose have been are in the process of at least getting merged, so that there is no opportunity for the those in power to move to take correct practices. Now, if you take digitization of procedures has helped in a great deal. Now, if you can see a simple change, if you take for example, if you take the sales tax department here in India, it used to be one of the most corrupt organizations. The experience as far as a user was extremely poor. But now you can see that since almost everything is electronic now, there is hardly a face-to-face interaction with the sales tax department, and therefore no opportunity for them to resort to corrupt needs. So technology has helped in that fashion. So we are on the way there. We are not there. We won't be there any time soon. But at least it's in the right direction.
Thank you for joining us from all the way from Doha, and we are thankful and delighted to hear your concern for the nation. Can I have a couple of people more coming and asking? And we wanted to accommodate maximum number of people from Doha, and we are actually thankful to all of you for waiting for us. And Mr. Prince George and Mr. Ruben is ready to answer your questions.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, sir.
My name is Bharat. I just have a small question. What is everything in store for real estate sector in this budget? With all the black money coming out and declarations, I'm expected some kind of ATI schemings coming from the finance minister this time, but it didn't happen. But what is in store for the real estate sector?
To whom you are asking this question, sir? You want Rogan to answer?
Now, both of you can answer.
Anybody else?
Both of you can answer. You can start with Prince.
Okay. I think, real estate traditionally, real estate is part of the infrastructure, first of all. Traditionally, it's a very big part of the economy. It needs, it's in a slowdown phase in the last couple of years, needs some kind of support from the government. First of all, the first support what real estate needs is, particularly housing sector, is based on reduction in interest rate, which is anyway happening because the inflation is coming down. But the government, from the government side, they have to simplify a lot of procedures, with respect to investment in real estate and other activities, which I haven't seen anything. I haven't gone through the fine print of the budget, I haven't seen anything any announcements coming in this budget, which is a little bit of a disappointment. Every budget used to talk little bit about affordable housing and other things, which is a key aspect as far as India is concerned, which is also not, I haven't seen any proposals in the budget speech, I don't know if I have missed something. I would request Rogan to comment further on this.
I'll just reiterate what he said. I haven't seen anything special in the budget with respect to the real estate sector. What he could have possibly considered was increasing interest deductions that were available. It is 2 lakh rupees right now. He could have at least made it 3 lakhs because that is not particularly a large amount in today's context. And he has also increased the compliance requirements of the real estate sector in terms of every transaction above 1 lakh now has to be accompanied with a PAN, which is 1 lakh in terms of real estate is practically a rounding error now. So, yeah.
So actually tells you that.
Yeah. Then only one small.
Continuing to put down real estate sector, that means.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. Only small, yeah, small benefit was that there are these real estate investment trusts right now.
REITs.
So REITs are there. So he has slightly made it more tax efficient in the sense that there is no, I believe there will be no dividend distribution tax when it is passed down to the ultimate beneficiary. But we have to see the fine print before actually.
No, no. This is one suggestion which is coming from the entire community ever since he announced the intent to launch the REITs in the last interim budget. No, even the last interim budget was announced 6-7 months back. Not even a single REITs has got announced until now. Basically, because of lack of clarity as far as the taxation is concerned. REITs being an investment vehicle which can substantially improve real estate investments, particularly by NRIs and all, where they can individually participate. The benefit of the scheme is that they can individually participate as an investment, and then they can sell it having a liquidity. There is no need for you to follow up the other procedures of registering the land or anything of that sort. It's a collective investment kind of a product. So it is a very good thing. It is a need of the hour now. But unfortunately, because of lack of clarity regarding double taxation and other things, the product has not really been launched by anybody. But I think with some clarification coming now, hopefully there will be a lot of REITs coming up, which will help NRIs to invest not directly into the real estate, but indirectly into the real estate and take advantage of the rentals and other income which are derived out of these real estate investments.